Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. Welcome to IT Live, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. I'm Joe Cook. We got Justin Wells. We got Ian Boyd. Thank you for tuning in, as always. Appreciate it. Got football this weekend. The last non-conference game for the Longhorns. We'll go over what to look for from Arch Manning. Thought that Joel Klatt had some great intel. On Arch, we'll go over facing a style of defense that continues to be a problem for Steve Sarkisian, or just a problem to work through. And then we'll look around the league as SEC play continues today, or maybe not today, but on Saturday. So make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Head to InsideTexas.com right now. Join for just $1. Get access to the best Texas Longhorn site. We had a lot of stuff on 3Plus yesterday, including recruiting, including some breakdowns on the defensive secondary, which you're going to want to go check out. Some cool tidbits there from Evan Veith. Great insight from Eric Naline, and then something we'll give you we'll give you a taste of today about Arch Manning. So go join. That's the first link in our description. Join for $1. We'll throw in a full year of access to The Athletic. And then also we are running a ticket giveaway through our guy, Andre the Lawyer. This giveaway ends today at 5 p.m. So hurry and enter. The Instagram link where you can sign up is in the description of this video. So go check that out. Andre the Lawyer is doing it again. Rules are in that video or in that post, but like the post, follow Inside Texas and Andre the Lawyer, tag your friends, 1 per comment, up to 5 entries. And again, it closes today at 5, and we'll announce it on Instagram later today at 8. So you'll get the tickets through the UT app. And of course, please enter only if you're able to attend the game. So thank you to our guy, Andre the Lawyer, been helping Inside Texas for a long time, been helping Texans for a long time. And you'll hear more about that in a little while. The big topic, guys, has been Arch Manning. And one of the guys who I trust when it comes to talking about college football, aside from the two guys on the screen and everybody Inside Texas, is Joel Klatt, because he's studying the film, he's played the position, and he got to watch Arch Manning up close this year over at in Ohio State. And he had a podcast yesterday where he revisited his top 10 quarterbacks before the season. And he looked at the state of South Carolina for a minute and looked at Lenora Sellers, looked at Cade Klubnik. I think everybody's, 2 preseason darlings. And he identified problems with like the offense with Mike Shula, with Garrett Riley, and thought you can have these injuries and dings and stuff like that, but there's stuff that goes beyond the quarterback right now that's affecting the Gamecocks and the Tigers. When he looked at Arch, he said, yeah, everything's not clicking exactly how it should quite yet with the offense, and I think everybody can agree with that. But Justin, Klatt's big takeaway was like Arch is just playing outside himself, and he's playing too quickly.
Way too quickly. And I think that's the thing we noticed that against Ohio State. And the thing we kept saying after that game was it needs to slow down. The game needs to slow down for him. And if anything, it felt like it may have sped up a little bit in the last couple of weeks, like maybe going in a different direction speed-wise. We're trying to dial it back a little bit instead of revving it up, and it just feels like it's a mental thing. Even Arch is standing up in front of a podium once or twice a week and telling you that, like, hey, I'm missing this. I've got to do better about that. The game has to slow down. It's such a retired thing to say, but it's so true in every sport you play, in every element. When the game slows down, things get a little bit easier. You can go through your steps. He's rushing everything. And it's because of urgency, Joe. It's because of expectations that he's putting on himself. It's not the national media and the hype and all that. That's going to have a little subtext kind of side effect. It's personal. Like, this kid is a very competitive, very driven. You don't get raised in this family without that waking up of urgency of, hey, we're going to be the very best at whatever we're going to do today because that's how we roll. It's a personal thing. And I think that's why when we talk to sources within the team and after, from practices, it's funny. It's like the players aren't worried. Like the players are still there. They're bonded. The brotherhood is there. They still believe in each other. They believe in this kid, Arch Manning. Like it's the fans that I think are having the hardest time, in the analysts in the Twitter world. It's those guys that are having the hardest time. Whereas with Arch and those guys, they understand what they need to do. We told him to slow it down. He went ahead and cranked it up a little bit more. And I'm just going to reemphasize like what Joel Klatt said and what you wrote and everything that you put in so succinctly yesterday. The game has to slow down for him. It will at some point. We're just kind of waiting for that point.
And Ian, I think a lot of people, when they talk about quarterback issues, they remember that Darnold game from, it was either Thursday or Monday Night Football a few years ago where, he's seeing ghost. And the streak of 10 straight incompletions, and Klatt notices this, it's not like he's seeing ghosts. It's not like he's not looking at guys and thinking like, not there, because he thinks it's covered. He's looking at guys, and Klatt's point was like, he's not letting the play develop. And he's able to go through progressions decently well, but he feels like, I have to go fast. I have to go fast. I have to go fast. And he's, for the most part, seems like he's making correct decisions as well.
Tom Herman had just an amazing, delightful metaphor for this once, where he was talking about his team that was pressing in when was it? It was like one of his first 2 years. And he compared it to the intellectually disabled character in it's not Grapes of Wrath. It's the one with Gary. No, the one with Gary Sinise, where he's like he wants to just cuddle the bunny, and he just wants it so bad.
Of Mice and Men.
Mice and Men,
yeah. He ends
I just wanted to stroke it, George.
You just want he just wants to.
He just wanted to stroke it.
Sark compared it to Arch taking a dump on the field. I don't know that that's any more flattering, but I think that's kind of perfect. Is he just wants it? He wants it too bad. He's shot all these commercials all off season. He's been hyped. God knows every article I've written about the offense this off season has been like, hey, the offense can be great. We just need Arch to be great. And then they go out there on the field, and it looks a little more like, boy, if Arch isn't great, this offense isn't even good. Right? Yeah. And that's all, and he's a Manning. That's enough pressure to collapse a submersible. That's a lot. And so I think that's exactly it. Is Joe, you outlined like so many of them yesterday. So many of them, he's just a little bit ahead. He's like, okay, Wingo's clear, throw. Okay, Wingo's not at the spot I threw yet, right? Or, most of his mistakes were of that nature.
And one of the things that I noted is like, that's why he's been so hard on himself, because it's not like I'm missing these giant foundational pieces of the offense. It's like I'm missing throws. It's like I've been throwing a football for like almost 20 years, and I can't throw the football right now. Yeah. I don't know if we'll try to go through as many of these as possible. But the main thing I did yesterday is I went through the 10 straight incompletions in the basically in the second quarter. Some of them are on him. Some of them he makes the right decision. There's just a lot of other things going on. But right. 10 incompletions is 10 incompletions is 10 incompletions. So we'll go through this one first. Let me hit Zoom again and see what we can get, how close we can get. That looks pretty good. Excuse me. So this is the tight O-line film. But off to the left, there are three receivers. Wingo's number one, and then Livingston and McCutcheon are no. Wingo's number three, and then Livingston and McCutcheon are 2 and 1. So Livingston and McCutcheon are on the outside. Wingo's number one. Wingo's the closest player to Trevor Gooseby. I need to just get the terminology right. And it's a wheel route. And I think, right? Is that this play? Yeah. Oh, it's injuries. Whatever.
This isn't the Livingston one.
There are two players to the left of Ryan Wingo, who's about where my mouse is. And it's a wheel route, and he's taught to throw to a spot. And that spot's the front pylon. And I kind of think he actually almost makes that throw, and Wingo may have been off by a yard on his route. But watch Manning's feet. And I'm not like a super quarterback mechanics expert, but your hips lead you places, and his hips have him pointing basically to the sideline. And I think that's actually where he was pointing. I think it was kind of pointing around this 2-yard line, and then that's why you see.
Did you hear what Ryan Wingo said after this play? He was asked about this play at post-game. After this play, they asked him about that post-game. They said, how did Arch miss you? On this play, it seemed like it was a drop in the bucket. Ryan said, Arch didn't miss me. It was my fault. The ball tipped outside of my fingers. If it touches my hand, I'm supposed to catch the football. That's not on Arch. That's on me. And I got to tell you, from a young kid's perspective, from a guy that's just a sophomore that's got a lot of expectations heaped on him, not like Manning, but a lot, coming in as a 5-star receiver out of state, that was very – even if he's wrong, that answer has got to give you promise.
Yeah, I do like to hear that for sure. He did miss him, though. That was –
right. I agree with that. But let me tell you something. Some of these questions in the last couple of weeks, these players are on to the beat, okay? Yeah. They know what's about to try to be asked about them with Arch Manning, and they will cut it fast. If that's what I talked about earlier, whatever's going wrong on the field, they're all aligned off the field. They're behind this kid, which I think shows so much promise in this program, and it actually shows the culture firsthand. But I'm glad you showed this one, Joe, and you continue to go on. But I just love the fact that Ryan Wingo stood up in there and said, no. That touched my fingers. That means I got to catch it. That's on me. Listen, guys, this is fixable stuff.
Yeah. Like, even if it wasn't mechanically perfect and even if Wingo messed up, I mean a little bit. Yeah. And Deshae, appreciate you jumping in. It's on the quarterback. Wide receiver.
Exactly. Deshae nails it.
So everybody's got a little bit to do. And we've talked about Ryan Wingo and route running. Like, this isn't, a novel concept. This is the one, Ian, I saw you go back and forth with Bob. And I think the truth is in the middle. This is a 2-man route. And is it perfect? No. Does Ryan Wingo get the rub?
It's pretty good.
It's good enough to throw on 4th down. That's my point.
It's a 1-man route is the problem.
Yeah. Make the read, and before you're finishing making the read, you're letting the ball go.
My theory of the case here, and I think people can still say he should have thrown it, but my theory of the case here is that Arch is reading the defender that Wingo is trying to pick.
The safety.
They call it a rub, right?
But rub route. Yeah.
It's a pick. You're trying to pick
If it's a pick, it's illegal. Rub routes are legal. Yeah.
The safety sees it coming, and they don't really impede him at all. Okay? So I think Arch is reading the rub defender, and when he sees that he does not get picked at all, he hesitates. And so everybody's like, he should have already have thrown when Parker Livingston is breaking out. Well, you do that if you trust the pick. But if you're reading to see how the pick goes, then you don't do that. And once you wait past that window, that thing is not open because it looks open.
Right.
But you have to consider that he's got to pull his arm back, and then he's got to throw it, and then the ball has to travel that distance in the air. And in that time, that defender is going to – so he either needed to throw it immediately and just say, whether we pick him or not, I'm just going to give Livingston a chance, or that's it. That's it. That was his only choice because they don't pick him, and then there's no window after that. And then he could have tried to run it. I think his path was cut off. he could have tried to go back across his body to the tight end who was coming wide open, but he had all these guys in his face because it wasn't protected.
I don't think Nick Townsend's that's not a good throw in my opinion.
That's a very difficult throw. It's a much more difficult throw than
what the play's drawn up for.
I don't care that he's right there. Like he's not looking there because he's not designed to get the football.
Well,
he should have thrown it. My take was that it's 4th and 3. Your first down play doesn't work. Throw a jump ball. Okay, like
what he did.
Yeah, and it just wasn't the right jump ball. But that's splitting hairs for sure on that one. Joshy Manning, appreciate you tuning in on this one. Appreciate you tuning in on everyone. Because there are 10 plays, I'm going to try to keep it going.
I will say, I think Arch started to break down after this one because it went so poorly. But I would say this is far from one of his worst plays in the game. I would put most of these decisions and throws as being worse than this one.
I would agree. So this is a 4th and 2 from the.
This one is the worst.
This is bad. And I was surprised to see a 13 personnel look. But if you're looking at this on YouTube, just to the right of Brandon Baker is Parker Livingstone. And there's a corner against him. What you'll see is that that corner blitzes. And Christian Clark, who I thought in this stretch, you'll see a lot of really good plays from Christian Clark. He abandons his fake to block the blitzing corner. And that should, and I think does, signal Arch like, oh, my guy is there. And so a little motion, takes up the blitzer. So where it says continue watching on X, like the actual X, that's Livingstone versus a safety one-on-one. And Manning knows it. And if I can count right, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 minors in this 10 minors in this clip. Actually, all 11. So that means there's none over where it says 3rd incompletion in the tweet. There is so much field to work with that this can just be. Is
this where he overshoots Livingston on that post?
Yes,
that was like perfectly called.
Look how much field there is.
Yep, buddy. This is one that Sark had been working on for 2 weeks, and they finally got everything right, and it just didn't execute it.
Like, you have so much room to complete. Like, this doesn't have to be a touchdown. And Eric put it well earlier this week. Like, he's trying to score 14 points every throw. Like, this can just be a completion. And it's not. Like, a lot of guys do their job on this one. And Christian Clark specifically, like, that's really good stuff.
Christian Clark's ability to pick up the blitz and help is more essential than him actually running the ball, in my opinion. I think he's playing because of that as much as anything.
Yeah.
Because his hesitation in running is poor.
Yeah. We'll keep it moving. First,
but he does that.
A word from our sponsor, that is Academy.
Any gate can be a tailgate.
All right, this is number 4. This is Ian. Did Wingo run the correct route here? Like, this should just be a plain stop, correct? Like, off coverage, zone, obviously, because nobody moves with Niblet across the formation. Like, okay. Oh, wait, no, this is a different play. I apologize. Okay, let me rephrase that. Zone coverage. That is Jordan Washington there in line, Livingston, Niblet in motion, Wingo up top. And let me see what they do.
I don't remember which one this is.
Run a stunt, and that befuddles DJ Campbell and Brandon Baker. So there's pressure coming, and Hudson doesn't do a great job either. So he's already pressured. Okay, you're fine. You're getting away from pressure. That's what you're supposed to do. But this is a Tampa 2.
Oh, yeah.
You have 2 deep safeties,
Mm-hmm.
and you have a guy, it's the middle safety running the pole, but he's in the middle. You have corners playing, what is that, cloud? Yeah, right?
Flat, yeah.
Flat, whatever, yeah.
Uh-huh.
What Jordan Washington should do is recognize its zone and stop right there.
Just fall in that little soft spot of the zone.
Like, it's not easy, but this offense isn't easy. That's what he's supposed to do.
DeAndre Moore is really good at doing that too.
And the impressive part is you can see Arch over on the side. There are a lot of bodies around him and a lot more white than orange around him. Like, my takeaway is that he throws to the correct spot, but Washington's not in the right spot. So,
Yep.
Cole Hudson lets no, it was Campbell and Baker.
Yeah, Cole held his own. Cole got pushed backwards, but it didn't affect the pocket really or the play.
So it's obvious zone, and then he diagnoses what type of zone it is. Pressure gets to him, and Washington should stop right there on the 50. And that's where Manning throws, doesn't. That's good process. Like, that's good quarterbacking. That's not seeing ghosts. That's making the right throw, in my opinion. But
when bad is stacking up one after another, little things like that start to unravel.
Yeah. So that is 4 in a row right there. And as we get to number 5, I think this is okay. This is the Wingo one. So, Ian, is this the one? Does this look like Wingo runs the correct route? Does he do the right thing? Like, should this be a stop or like an out? Because Arch throws the out. Wingo runs the stop.
That should be a stop.
But Arch's mechanics aren't – he's too fast.
I think that outside linebacker throws him off. That goes over into – I don't know what happened there.
That's a good question, Justin.
Yeah.
Because you saw that guy pop up over into that area. I think Arch peripherally saw that, and that's why he felt like he had to force it to Ryan out there.
Whatever happened, though, Arch is working way too fast here. Like,
that's like the hardest. These are the hardest easy throws.
Yes.
Where it's on time and you're throwing in anticipation of a break by the receiver.
Yeah.
And when you miss it, when you're not synced up, it looks like you're both Lenny on the football field. And when it works, it looks like the easiest thing in the world. And you're like, hey, why did you let them do that, defense? Are you Lenny? Why would you think that they wouldn't do that? If you ever get like your kid in the backyard of the football and try to do this, it's trickier than it looks, especially at that kind of distance.
And this doesn't look injury related. It's just he's working too quickly. Like, that's the right read. That's the right throw. It's just
it's called pressing.
Which one is this? This is okay. This is another one where Arch, I believe, does the right thing. That's Jack Endries right there. Niblett, Livingston, Wingo. And I think one thing to note is the offensive line does a fantastic job on this play, because it looks like they're bringing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6, and there's a 7th up there kind of hanging around. And, he's covering Niblett, but you don't know what he's doing. But watch what the defensive line does and watch what the offensive line is able to respond. Like, that's a good blitz pickup. There is a pocket there. The big problem is that Ryan Niblett, and I'm going to back it up here, from the closest slot position, he makes the wrong read. Like, he thinks, and he runs his route thinking that it's man coverage. And so
the one where he runs into his own other. Oh my God! Yeah.
So he runs across the formation, because when you're in man coverage, that's what you're supposed to do. You think a guy's on your tail, so you run away from him. But it's not man coverage, so he runs right to where Jack Endries is and bumps Jack Endries off the ball. And the blitz pickup is good. Arch does the right thing.
That one was not on Arch.
Like, that's good stuff. And Dermot Simeon, I think this kind of fits into what we were talking about a play or two earlier. Arch is reminding me of Joe Kane from the ESU Timberwolves trying to win the Heisman on every throw. It looks like Kane after rehab as well. That's a reference I'm missing.
Okay, so he was the quarterback in the movie The Program.
Oh, okay. I've seen that.
And remember, he had the motorcycle. And there's a scene where he's in the office with the coach because the coach had caught him for getting in trouble for something again. And he's like, look, man, you're going to have to go to rehab. And there's like a 3-second little thing there where he looks up and goes, I'll be a joke. Like the way he says it is, it's not funny, but it really is kind of funny because that's The Program. And that's Joe Kane not handling the early season Heisman hype.
Place at the table. That
scene where he's like, I'll be a joke. Like it's for 2-3 seconds, it's really funny.
All right, Ian, I'm going to press play and press pause real quick. Can you tell the people at home what a sim pressure is?
Sim pressure is where you show one blitz, but then the guys that you showed coming on the blitz drop into coverage and somebody else comes instead.
They call that the Todd Bowles special.
He is pretty adept at it. So he's
very good at that.
You see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and let me back it up a second. Like those two middle linebackers are just there. And before this clip starts, Hudson does a pretty good job of identifying this actually. But what I wrote in this article was that, just as other teams have players on scholarship too, there are other coaches on the sideline too. And although you'll find that every player is picked up, watch who the defensive end gets matched up against. Like everybody's picked up, but you have Christian Clark going against a defensive end. And that was the design of the play one of the desired outcomes of the play from UTEP. So you've got that going on. And maybe Arch probably should have stepped up, but he steps out. And he's got the athleticism. Nothing's wrong with this so far. Like you want to step up, but it's not the worst thing that he didn't.
This is the one to Amari Winston, isn't it?
The problem is what you see here on the 30 is Amari Winston's running up and Arch thinks he can make this throw. And it almost is disaster. Like he's running to the sideline, throwing across his body, throwing sidearm.
He goes to the wrong shoulder, but he could have made that throw.
I don't think Winston anticipated this.
No. And in a sense, I know you think I'm crazy. Winston could have caught that ball.
Yes.
But
honestly, a regular tight end that has the body control to just contort himself a little bit this way, Gunnar Helm makes this catch. Jatavian Sanders makes this catch.
The main point, though, is those guys aren't on the field.
Amen.
This should have been a throwaway.
You're right.
This should have been a let Jack Bouwmeester go do his job play, and it wasn't. And this is pressing. This is trying to do too much. And then, which one? And then we move on to number 8 in a row. Okay, this is a good design to Christian Clark. And it's just looks, sees it, sidearms, thinks too fast, misses the throw. Like correct read, right decision, just going too quickly and being like, oh, I have to go. And then
actually the ball should go in the middle of the field because those two linebackers both split out. And that little, I guess that's the slot right there is just, that's a dump. That's a 5-yard, get your 5 or 6 yards, hit the ground, get back up, run tempo, run another play. He made a harder throw than he needed to. It looks like Ryan, whoever's playing that inside, it looked like maybe Ryan. Look how this is the guy you're supposed to hit, not the guy you're throwing almost across hash to this much of an out of bounds to a running back. I don't even think Clark's the read there. Ian, am I wrong?
I don't know, but you're definitely right that is easy money. I don't know.
I wonder if that was an alert.
I'm not throwing those quick outs to a running back.
That usually
have receivers.
That would usually be an earlier read.
It would be
get
the ball out of your hand in less than 2 seconds. If you shake more than 3 times, you've heard it before. Get the ball out of your hand quickly.
I guess there's one thing. Why won't anyone address, is there an injury or anything like that? It's mental. He's sped up too much, and because he sped up too much, his mechanics break down. They're not, if Arch Manning was injured, Steve Sarkisian's not going to run him 10 times against UTEP. I don't see how those two things can coexist.
If you think about it, Joey, if you've ever been trying to throw and you don't have your feet set and you're being chased or something, and you just have to get the ball out however you can, what do you default to? You default to your old baseball days and you sling it sidearm. It's not like the idea that he can't lift his arm up because his shoulder is injured is so stupid. It's so dumb. Anyone that's telling you that's so dumb.
He made a lot of throws in this game with that arm up and fired in some of these guys.
When he's doing it, and every single freaking time he does it, it's quick because he's sped up or he's moved off his spot. It's just telling you he's like, I got to get this out quick. And so I just need the quick flick. And that's why he's doing it.
And he's worked on this stuff before in plenty of off-season and camps, the off-platform stuff, but he's not great at it right now. There's a timing to it. There's a sense of the moment to it that I think he is rushing past.
The other thing that I've come back to is that if there was something up with him that was confirmable, with how overcovered Arch Manning is and how much attention that would, like, the worst Arch Manning takes, not just like, is he injured? I get why people are asking that, but like the worst Arch Manning takes get a lot of attention. So if you hold that idea, and if there were any sort of confirmable, reportable, like Arch is injured thing to put out there, anybody in the Texas market would try to do that as fast as possible because they know how valuable that is and how much attention that would bring.
That would be a better excuse for the poor passing, Joe, than the actual poor passing.
It's not like Texas media is holding information back. Like the whole Ewers thing, like Ewers' injury was reported plenty last year. The specifics were not, I'll grant that, but like Ewers is dealing with something. That made its way out pretty quickly. Like the stuff that didn't make it out was worthy, and that was and I think that's an anomaly. And we also now have injury reports. So if something's up, like you can play games, but you can only play so many games, or else the SEC is going to come calling the conference, not the government entity, and say like, "Hey, why are you playing games right now?" With
like they did with Lane Kiffin on Monday with Austin Simmons.
Yeah, we get to 9 in a row. Which one is this? Oh, this is Ian. I was confused on what happened here. The double slants.
Yeah, I got it. So they have double slants to Manning's right, which you can't really see from this angle. But the read on a double slant is inside slant to outside slant. Because that like hook defender, you see if he stays underneath, you see if he stays inside of the first slant, and then you don't want to throw it. Because then you're leading your guy into him. And if he does, that means the second slant has a window to throw to, right? What Arch does is he watches this linebacker number 4, I think. He watches him bail out to the first slant, but he knows this linebacker is going to pretend to guard the first one, and then he's going to bail again to get to the second, right? So Arch looks at the first one, he goes to the second one, and then he goes back and tries to throw it late to the first inside slant, which is just
backwards. It's like riding right side to left instead of riding left side to right.
Yes, I was not going to say that, Justin. That's a good point. It is like that. It's also just being a little bit too, you're just trying too much, I think.
Yeah.
And it gets tipped, right?
Yeah, it's tipped at the line.
Because he's staring it down too much. He's like, here, maybe here, okay, back here. And then that gives the defense too much time to react in front of you.
That damn window's too close anyway.
And then the 10th straight incompletion, and this one was just, it just felt like there ain't much here, but like the weight of everything, you know? Like this is just, I mean, that's not the worst throw, but it's not a good one.
Well, what's that? What's the receiver doing there? It's hard on that angle.
Yeah, they turned incorrectly. The receiver's feet aren't good there. The quarterback's throw and their feet aren't good, but his feet aren't that good either.
I think he's just running a 5-yard out and the ball's inside of him.
Yeah.
Probably. I think you're right, Joe.
So just a bad throw.
But here's the next thing that he does. And this looks good. And this is good quarterbacking. So right here here, let me do this real fast. All right. You see the motion of Washington out. Dalen McCutcheon runs, basically takes 2 defenders with him, runs guys out of the play, does his job. I think the next look is for Parker Livingston, and there's a guy there. Wingo, there's guys right there. So it's like, okay, let me get to this check down. And it's a difficult check down. It looks like he's moving toward the play, and boom, Manning hits it because he stops, he sets, he looks, like he goes through his mechanics. He does things in a calm and orderly fashion. And it looks good. It's right on the money, and it's 1st and goal.
Washington did well too there.
And then a couple plays later.
I'm glad you put some good ones in here because I was getting really sad with all the bad ones.
I know. So this isn't a pass, but I think it is more indication that he's making good reads. So let me get the pause. Okay. Livingston right there. McCutcheon right there. Guys right in front of him. Wingo right there. Guys right in front of him. Either Shannon or Indries. You know, guys right in front of him. They're playing 2-man, it looks like. Running back covered in space by a linebacker. Linebacker on a tight end. Covered in man. Zone helping there. Manning realizes, oh, wait, there's nobody in the middle of the field. And he makes a good decision. He runs it in. That to me, Justin, is just more evidence that like he's not seeing ghosts. He's just not making throws. And that's a problem. But if you start making throws when you know the offense, you're going to be okay.
What we've noticed in these 10 clips is that some of it's Arch. At some plays, it's some of the offensive line. At some plays, it's some of the receiver play. And even one play, it may have been a Christian Clark play. Like all it takes is one for a vast offense. All it takes is one guy of the 11 to screw it up. And Texas isn't as good of a machine on offense to overcome that right now. In the past, I think you could have little mishaps, running the wrong route or picking up the wrong guy or letting a guy come free, and you could overcome it. Arch is not in that state right now where he can overcome all these little mistakes. That's part of it too. I mean, I think that's what I pick up from watching these 10 clips. It's not just him. Obviously, he's part of it, but there's little bitty things here in each play that it's like, okay, Niblett, you did this wrong. Okay, Washington, you did this wrong. Okay, Baker and Campbell, y'all messed this up. Like, it's a collection, guys. It ain't us piling on Arch Manning. It's a collection of the offense, and that starts and finishes with Sark.
But we like you had mentioned, we do see the good. And Ian, this is a good RPO, right read, and this is good work by Arch and Ryan Wingo finally getting together here. So the offensive line fires out, and then Ian take it from there.
Well, they got another rub here, right? With
you do it like this, rub.
Almost less so, almost from his own fellow defender because Livingston's nowhere near there.
That wasn't a rub route.
I mean,
it looked like it should have been maybe, but it was not.
Yeah, the spacing is not there to execute.
Right. It wasn't. I'm talking about those old Sonny Cumbie, Mike Leach rub routes. That's what Graham Harrell rub routes.
Well,
where they're just basketball picks.
Pre-snap Arch sees they've got 2-on-2 outside, and they're both in inside leverage. So my receiver going out has a lot of space to work in. And he kind of watches it develop again for a minute. Where does he make the decision? Right there. He sees where it's going, and then he waits to throw, which has gotten into trouble some, but this time he throws a good ball.
Ooh.
And
I'm honestly surprised he didn't throw it to Parker.
I wonder if it's designed to go to him.
I think he forces this.
No, you can't throw to Parker there. There's a guy in your face.
Right.
But that guy's on Parker's hip. He didn't cross his face when he ran the slant.
The space is outside, so it's definitely the right read.
Right.
And it's a great throw. Only his guy.
Right. It's not designed for Parker. You're right, because he's 2 steps from a lineman. You're right. Parker's deal is to clear that guy out to give, I think, Wingo one-on-one with his guy. Honestly, that was a hard throw. That's not an easy throw.
No.
I think that does it for the Arch section of today. It went pretty long.
Can you imagine how much we're going to break down against Sam Houston State? You got to come to Inside Texas to get all of it.
Before we keep going, though, got to show some love to our sponsor, as we did earlier, Andre the Lawyer.
Texans know when you're injured, there's one name that gets results: Andre the Lawyer. Trust the team that has secured millions for their clients and helped thousands of Texans win their injury cases. Car wrecks, slip and falls, 18-wheeler accidents, on-the-job injuries, wrongful deaths. Don't let the insurance companies tell you what your claim is worth. Andre the Lawyer will fight for you. His principal office is in Dallas, but they serve Texans throughout the state. So don't wait. Call 214-444-8808. That's 214-444-8808. Contact info is in the description.
All right, Ian.
Connor missed a chance on that one, man.
So we get to talk a little bit about Steve Sarkisian's old friend, the Big 12's old friend. That is the Flyover defense. Started at Iowa State in 2017. I think he started it against Texas.
John Heacock.
And it's been something that has given Steve Sarkisian problems throughout his tenure in both the Big 12 and in the SEC.
Yeah, the Flyover is perfectly designed to give people like Sarkisian fits, because the idea is you get these 3 safeties in the middle of the field. In this case, Oklahoma's corners are also way back.
That's 12 yards off.
That's not essential to this system. The defining feature of the system is 3 safeties, all at safety depth, at least shortly before the snap. And they may move to like traditional alignments, or they may bail back even further or whatever. But that 3 across is the hallmark of the system, because it makes it hard to know the defense's intentions. It makes it really hard to get receivers open deep. And those guys they show up in the box against the run faster than you think. So the way it works is you sit these guys back. You either discourage the deep pass before the snap, or you have guys positioned to take it away after the snap, right? So Sark's favorite thing, the deep pass, is gone. Sark's favorite solution to that is to run the ball. We're going to be physical. We're going to run the ball. Well, for one, you actually have to be good at running the ball. So that has been a problem at Texas. Secondly, it's actually hard to run the ball efficiently against the Flyover, because a lot of these teams, those safeties are right there in the middle of the field. They might be like flat-footed at like 10 yards, and you don't account for them in your blocking scheme. So they show up maybe in the hole if they're really good, or maybe like 2 or 3 yards down the field, 4 or 5 yards down the field, and they cap all your runs. So you're like, well, we're just going to run the ball. And then the run looks really good, and then a safety flies in that no one accounted for in the blocking scheme, and he turns your really good run into like a 5-yard gain. And you got to do it again, and you got to do it again, and you got to do it again, which a lot of teams are not good at, and certainly Texas is not very good at. So that's what Sark has that trouble with it. Lane Kiffin is better at it because his run game is usually simpler and a little more efficient. If you just let him execute one thing, his team will do it. Whereas Sark wants to run like a huge gamut of pro-style schemes. Lane Kiffin runs his quarterback way more than Sark does. But when you get that +1, it turns those inefficient 3 to 5 yard runs into 5 to 8 yard runs, and it becomes more tenable. Lane Kiffin will spread these teams out and throw it more than underneath, more than Sark does, because Sark is less of a spread guy. Kiffin will use tempo. Sark doesn't love tempo. Kiffin, in my opinion, runs a superior college system to Sark, but that's for another day, maybe.
I'd like to hear that take, but I know what you're talking about. So that's what you just explained. So how do you beat it? And Sark has tried to beat it in you highlight 2 different ways, but if the one I can think of is 2022 Iowa State. That's the one that always comes to mind for me. And what did he do in that game, Ian?
They just ran the ball. They ran a lot of stuff, but they ran the ball with power. They put Andre Karich as an offensive. They put him at tight end in that game a lot. They put Gunnar Helm on the line. He was better in line than anyone Texas has right now. And they gave the ball to Bijan a couple times. And they'd send him to the sideline for a breather, and they'd bring in Roshan, and they'd give it to him a couple times. And then they'd bring Bijan back. And I think they won the game like 26-17 or something. It wasn't really pretty. It got a little dicey at times, I think, with that one quarterback got hot late in the game. But Sark was just like, okay, fine. You're going to turn us into a plodding, grind you to the nub offense. We can play that way. We're going to control the game. We don't care if we score a ton of points. We're going to score enough, and we're going to hold the ball so you can't score. That works. It's not that great, and you have to be good at running the ball.
Bijan Robinson helps, and Xavier Worthy whip routes help as well. But this is something, Justin, now that Texas has put it on film that they struggle with it, teams may not major in it, but they're going to see it plenty over the course of the rest of the year, or at least some to where they have to learn a solution for it.
They'll have to pick up something. They'll adjust. But Sark, he tries to be so anti-tendency, almost to a fault, I felt like, at least earlier this year and late last year. He's the anti-tendency. So I think Texas understands how to combat it. It's really just about the execution right now.
Ian, you had mentioned running the quarterback. That has its ups and downs. We know what they are, but it gives you the +1, and that's what you mentioned that Lane Kiffin often uses in order to combat it. But you highlighted another option.
Yeah. A lot of times, not all the time, but a lot of times these flyover teams, the reason they sit way back in coverage is because they can't cover you. They have very few defenders that can hold up one-on-one in coverage. So they're like, well, we're just going to make all of our guys' jobs in coverage easier by sitting way back in zone with lots of deep defenders, and you're not going to get any easy one-on-ones in the deep passing game. So they want you to run the ball. They're trying to bait you into running the ball. That's a big tenet of the flyover, is take your chances running the ball. And Sark usually just says, okay, I will. If you spread them out and throw it anyways, and you get 4 or 5 guys out in the pattern, you can start to even out the numbers again and you can either throw it underneath a lot and make their defenders chase and tackle in space, or you can also, Sark has done this a couple times, you can still get one-on-one shots. If you go out and empty, the flyover still runs out of defenders and you can get a one-on-one deep. The trick with that is your quarterback cannot have the yips. Your offensive line has to be reliable, and you have to have multiple good receivers. And all three of those are iffy right now for Texas. So
is the run game. So it's all great. The one thing that I have noticed before is when they're playing 3 deep safeties, that still leaves an area in the middle of the field, or not in the middle of the field, but near the sidelines where there's some space. Is that like an exploitable way of trying to get those yards, just because it feels like you can have a tight end run a kind of a corner route and find that little soft spot because they're playing 3 deep?
Isn't that what Bouchel did to Toneel Carter?
No, that was a wheel route.
It was not a wheel route.
That was I think he ran up the middle. Then he
it was not a wheel route. I thought it was almost a leak in a sense.
Well, not a wheel, but
I think it was like a leak.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the specific coverages they end up playing. But if you put enough receivers out into patterns, then you can find spots. If you want to run 2-3-man routes with max protection like Sark loves, then you don't have enough guys to overstress the flyover. You got to go spread to do it. Does that make sense? It's just math is what it boils down to.
This is, like you say, it limits explosives, but it's to make up for athletic inefficiencies for a lot of different teams. And you just have to exploit it. Sometimes you have to find, this makes bum hunting a little bit more difficult, but there's always a bum somewhere. Someone's going to be the guy who screws things up. So we'll get to our SEC look, but I did see this one question. I'm curious about it. Cole Hudson plays best at left guard. Why not move Hudson back to guard and have Robertson at center with Cruz as backup? Hudson will never play center in the NFL. They tried this plenty during camp. They've tried putting Hudson at guard and having Hudson, Robertson, Campbell. They didn't feel like it was the right direction, right, Justin?
Yeah. Connor Hudson's a really good backup center, but when you get into SEC play, he doesn't have the optimal size compared to others. He can get pushed. I mean, the interior of the O-line is not very solid right now. They're all trying to kind of figure out their own way. I think Connor almost makes that less. Now, listen, he's a technician, and he's going to be smart, and he's going to get you guys in the right protections. He's going to get you set up correctly. But if that was the case, Robertson would have been the starting center already. And honestly, I kind of think they could go that direction. Until Connor Stroh gets more comfortable, until DJ Campbell can maintain a long length of focus, put Cole Hudson back at those guard spots where his athleticism really pays off, and let Connor get some more of that run at center. When they go against Florida and Oklahoma and Georgia, Connor's going to get pushed around. And I think the O-line might get pushed around anyway. So it may be one of those pick your poison type deals. But yeah, they tried that a lot this year. They trust Connor. Flood really does. And so does Arch, and so does the offense. But it's not an improvement, so to speak. It's almost a lateral move.
Do we know he's better at left guard?
What's that?
Do we know that Hudson is even better at left guard than he is at center?
Well, Hudson was better than Connor last year at left guard.
One thing for me that Sark said the other day was that he ran a lot of run plays. He kind of repeated plays, and he did it from similar looks. And he's like, I'm trying to get these guys to build more together. And he's done that while rotating guards in the past, but that kind of tells me like he's trying to get the most out of the guys that he's marching out right now. And if you just keep mixing and matching, then you just keep mixing and matching. There's not a good answer to this at this point from what we've seen. So
I agree.
Ian, will you be watching the Jackson Arnold Bowl? Well, guess what time it is? Weekly look at what's going on in the SEC. Arnold going back to Norman's the big one. the SEC sends this to me in alphabetical order, so we'll go over this real fast. Arkansas at Memphis playing in the Liberty Bowl. Arkansas can score points. Memphis, if they win this game, though, them and another team we'll talk about later, they can definitely be in that G5 playoff conversation. Anything on the Hogs?
Taylon Green is a one-man show.
If he goes down, that team looks a lot different.
They're done. Yeah.
And they're
competitive with him.
Yeah. Well, they can score. They can't stop anybody.
That's what I meant by it. Like, they can compete. Yeah. I'm not saying they're going to win, but they're competitive with Taylon, the big Louisville High School former quarterback.
What they're doing makes a lot of sense, where they are maintaining competitiveness in football, not trying to be good, but just trying to be respectable, and then just being all in on basketball, like Kentucky.
Do you know that Arkansas led the SEC last year in spending, NIL spending in basketball?
Makes sense. They had to get a lot of those Kentucky kids out. They spend in baseball too.
18 million.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
UAB at Tennessee, name a number for the Vols, right?
The Vols look very, very good this year.
Yeah. They look like a playoff team.
Yes.
They could hit that over-under by themselves.
Yes.
I really want to know more about their offense. Looks so much more diverse and better this year to me. It looks more Kiffin-y and less Heupel.
Really?
Yeah, just a more diverse veer and shoot kind of deal. And I don't know. It's not. I think they have the same offensive staff. I don't know if they like workshop some new ideas, or they just needed to get rid of Nico, or they were doing this for Nico, but then they got rid of him anyway. I don't know, but they are improved. They last year, like Oklahoma threw the flyover at them, and they just totally wilted. They won that game, but they wilted. Arkansas upset them like a week and a half, 2 weeks later, doing the same thing. They looked totally clueless. Georgia tried to do it to them. Georgia tried to run the flyover defense. I have no idea why. They've never had problems with Tennessee in the past, so I don't know why they switched to that defense now. They didn't do it very well. Tennessee torched it. So I am impressed by the Vols this year.
Tulane at Ole Miss. This one's interesting. This is another G5 playoff contender. Tulane's been putting up points. Ole Miss, I should have had the injury report up. We'll see about Austin Simmons.
Why?
But yeah, because he's
not going to put him on there anyway.
Got Trinidad Chambliss back there too.
Yeah.
But this is a very intriguing game.
The John Summerall game.
Yeah. And
remember, Kiffin said this week, you saw what Kiffin said. He's going to be a coach in the SEC. Kiffin knows gamesmanship. Like, he is so good at it.
Maybe Summerall will take his job. Here we go, Ian. Auburn at Oklahoma. The big game in the SEC this year, or at least this week, sorry. What do you make of this? I feel like there's a lot of confidence in Norman. There's a lot of confidence in Auburn. The Jackson Arnold of it all makes this intriguing. But look at this point total, 47.5. Like, ugh.
I feel like Oklahoma is way out over their skis after beating a mid-Michigan team that was missing its only receiver that their freshman quarterback trusted, and playing a not amazing game plan on defense on the road at night in Norman in a game that Brent Venables had to win, or he may not have made it to midseason. I think Oklahoma is just like way too excited. This is another thing. What we hear from the now 2 Oklahoma sites that we have within our network suggests that their offensive line is in pretty bad shape. The guys that you would describe as maybe their 2 best offensive tackles are both like either out or questionable, being Sexton and Fasusi.
Fasusi's questionable. I don't know about Sexton. I should pull up the injury report.
I think Sexton is out. Fasusi, I believe that Parker Thune wrote recently that Fasusi is extremely limited moving around right now, to the extent that they're not sure if it would help the team to put him on the field.
Sexton is out. Fasusi is questionable. Yeah.
Their starting center at the beginning of the year is out for the year with a knee injury. I believe the backup center is listed as questionable or out. That'd be one of the Eastern European looking kind of names. Like
There are seven guys on that injury report from the offensive line.
They're all injured.
Yeah,
everyone is injured. They're just
and Auburn's got a pretty big front seven. Like
they expect apparently they expect Keontez Lewis to play. Apparently you can get through the concussion protocol in a week now. He got knocked out. He got knocked out last week.
In the SEC, you can get through it within hours.
So I just don't understand. Like, and Hugh Freeze has already shown that if Jackson Arnold is at all questionable throwing, he'll just run him. And Hugh Freeze is not afraid to just run this kid into the ground.
No.
Yeah. Which
so this adds up to a very difficult, and they don't even get it at night. So usually I feel like me and Vegas are pretty far apart on this. I don't know if I'd make Auburn a favorite, but I don't think I would have them. I think they're going to win. I definitely wouldn't have them almost a touchdown dog. So either I'm missing something, which is usually the case when me and Vegas are this far apart. It's usually Vegas knows something I don't. I don't know what it is. If anybody has any suggestions, to me,
Joe. I mean, just real quick on the whole Vegas thing. Remember what we saw yesterday, Ian. Right now, Texas is a 10.5-point favorite on a neutral field against Oklahoma. Like Vegas, that was hard to wrap my mind around.
I think my feeling is that after this game, that'll be more sense.
Make more sense.
So
but Vegas doesn't seem to think that because they have Oklahoma beating Auburn. So
hey, I'm putting in a petition for Vegas odds to be the new preseason rankings, and not for any human being to be involved. Make it a computerized thing. Make it something like that. Make whatever Vegas says for their odds. That's your preseason ranking moving forward.
So this one from Joey Austin, and there's a lot going on here. If Jackson Arnold beats OU and has success at Auburn, will that mean Arnold was not a good fit at the OU system? Could we see a similar problem with Arch Manning and Sark system? I'll address it. I'll take it.
Joey.
Oklahoma had
a lot of stuff like that.
Oklahoma had a terrible offensive play caller last year. Atrocious. They had a terrible wide receiver situation to pair with it. There wasn't going to be a lot that Jackson Arnold could do to get past that, but he also didn't have a lot of help, both from himself and from the coaching staff. He goes to Auburn, and you've seen that Auburn has said, like, all right, let's run this guy. Like, they're not putting an aerial offense really on him, whereas it didn't seem like Oklahoma was willing to do that this past year, last year with Joe John and Luttrell. Could we see a similar problem with Arch fitting an Sark system? Let's go back to Arch Manning's recruitment. He's Archie Manning's grandson. He's Peyton's nephew. He's Eli's nephew. He's Cooper's son, all that stuff. There are connections to Ole Miss. There are connections to Tennessee. He lives right down the road from LSU. Ole Miss and Tennessee run veer and shoot offenses. They run systems that the NFL, they can work around, but they like systems where quarterbacks are making multiple reads, looking across the field, and not just counting numbers and throwing to where there are fewer guys. That's why Alabama, Georgia, and Texas kind of coalesced towards the top, because they ran professional-style systems. So could we see a similar problem with Arch fitting in Sark's system? Any place he would have picked was going to be this system. Like, this is the system he's going to have to fit in when he goes to the next level. So is it a problem with fit? No, it's not. it's a problem with execution right now. Is Sark's system better suited for pocket passers and dual threat quarterbacks? I'm a little curious on this one. Dual threat quarterbacks, maybe not dual threat like Haynes King dual threat, but dual threat like Arch Manning, who can okay, everything's covered. Well, I can go run for 7 yards. Then you can get stuff and make that work. Sark hasn't liked that. He hasn't liked designing runs for quarterbacks. He's doing it more. So it's probably better suited for, players. The Tua and Mac Jones of it all, those guys were surrounded by superstars and they didn't have to run, and they're not really that good at running. So Arch is, but now you're seeing him run a little bit more. But the idea that Arch is not a good fit for Sark's system, I think, well, if he were in a different uniform, he'd be running that system anyway. And I don't think that the family would let him enter a system that didn't prepare him for the NFL. It's why Ole Miss, it's why Tennessee, it's why even Clemson kind of was eliminated, because they aren't NFL style systems.
These are good questions, Joey Austin. And your next question, I want to see at InsideTexas.com.
Northern Illinois at Mississippi State. Shout out Thomas Hammock. Bulldogs have to be feeling good, though, to be this close to a bowl game in second year after going 2.
There's just some mojo in Starkville right now.
You know who doesn't?
The Arizona State win was big for them.
You know who doesn't feel good about Mississippi State? Texas.
Yeah.
Isn't that game that everybody penciled in? People etched in stone as a win preseason. Does that look like a sure win now?
No.
That is
absolutely not.
That is a scary team.
And that could end up being I think that might end up being an SEC Network night game too. Or it could. So cowbell there. We've seen them take care of business against some good teams.
And the other like Charlie Williams points out, the University of Texas at Starkville, they got a lot of guys that are going to be willing to show Texas that they should have given them more of a chance.
Couple more. South Carolina at Missouri. There are only 2 SEC games this week, which is pretty crazy. Lenora Sellers is questionable. Missouri 10.5 points. I've been a Eli Drinkwitz.
I wouldn't drink that. South Carolina is going to play better
if Sellers plays.
Yeah, but I mean their defense, they're going to play well. Yeah, last weekend was so weird. I just did not see Pavia putting up 30-something points on that defense. They had one of the best defense in the country last year. That was a surprise.
Ian, anything on this one?
I noticed I thought about South Carolina in the offseason. I was like, should I investigate this team as a potential championship contender? And I looked, and last year their defense was 7 or 8 seniors, and they're all gone.
Yeah. The only one they got back was Dylan Stewart.
Usually South Carolina is not a reload program. They are a developmental cycle program. So tough beans. Can
you put Sellers on the same pile with Arch and DJ Lagway this year, Ian?
Well, I haven't watched him, but he just got hurt, right?
I'm just saying about the hype, the overwhelming. There are a lot of – Josh Pate was talking about that could be the best quarterback in college football and the number 1 pick in the draft, and I'm just –
You know what? I did
looks like a good college playmaker.
If y'all go to my Twitter at Ian_A_Boyd, I had a tweet once where I listed all of the preseason – which team had the established quarterbacks that everybody thought those teams were going to be best. And that team almost never is the best team in college football the following year. It just does never how it works. Usually because the super good returning quarterback, a big reason why he was so good the year before is that he had linemen and receivers that were awesome. And now they're gone, and it's just him. And it always – every time.
All right. Got a couple more to get to.
This is the game.
Yeah.
I call this the Derek Cooper Bowl. Even though Derek Cooper is going to be in Austin this weekend for his official visit, check out the latest at InsideTexas.com. But yeah, Florida loses here. I think Texas has some momentum in a couple weeks going into Gainesville. Florida competes and wins here. I have no clue.
So I don't know. Florida has a gimme game the week before Texas. And if you go 1-3 with the schedule they've got left, like I don't know what you do, just because you have to deal with the portal aspect of it.
Yeah.
You have to deal with the signing class. And luckily for them, like, yeah, sure, kids can jump in, but unless you're one of the more talented guys, like, I don't know why you jump in the middle of the season when you can put on more tape for your next destination. I don't know. This is they either have a gimme game or a bye.
I think they have a bye.
But, I mean, when you go 1-3, you basically have to go 8-0 the rest of the way.
And we knew this was coming. Like, we knew that Florida had a tough schedule. We knew it was tough sledding for them. The LSU loss wasn't that bad, in my opinion. Like, it was, Lagway turned the ball over a lot, but that wasn't a blowout by any stretch. And so I talked to somebody last night, big Florida guy, and he's like, man, I don't know if Miami loses this year. I said, man, it's Miami. He said, Justin, that offense and that defense, they're very complimentary. And Carson Beck is probably your early leader for the Heisman. He has looked tremendous against some good teams.
Canes can score. Game day game. I wonder what the crowd looks like, because Miami doesn't fill their own stadium that well. But I don't know if you're going to get – well, I mean, it is University of Florida, and Miami's in Florida. But are you going to go?
They used to fill up the Orange Bowl. This used to be a no-brainer. Now that it's in Hard Rock, and I think that's like 30 miles from campus or something like that. Don't forget, people, Miami's a private school. It's a commuter school. It's not really a big fan base in a sense when it comes to game days. And when they abolished the Orange Bowl, they've had a hard time getting any sort of big crowd. They had a great crowd for, I want to say, the Notre Dame game 2 weeks ago, but that had been 9 months in advance. Their attendance is hit and miss.
They're getting first place votes, though.
They should.
Their head coach is doing a great job of putting together talent. He just needs to manage a game well. And I don't even know, is Lagwell even – I don't know if
Lagway, I think Lagway's dinged up, but I think he's always dinged up.
Yeah.
Lagway's more hurt emotionally than he is physically. I mean, the kid made some good throws on Saturday. He just threw a handful to the wrong team.
Got to get out of here. Go ahead.
I just said he tries to do too much, kind of like somebody else we've watched.
It's almost like the expectations of pressure of telling kids 3 years in advance you're going to be the first round picks in the 2027 draft has some sort of effect.
Georgia State at Vanderbilt. Don't lose this like you did last year. Home game. Vanderbilt may be another – I mean, for all the complaints about Texas' schedule looking so easy, a lot of these teams are looking pretty good. Southeast Louisiana at LSU.
Hey, real quick on Vanderbilt, you forgot the best story. There is one storyline there. That if Theo Vaughn gets a date with Diego Pavia's mom, that's my favorite part of the first month of college football. Carry on.
Well said.
We got to get out of here because Southeast Louisiana, LSU, I think we can skip over. And then
this will be the game where LSU wears like purple helmets or something.
I think that's what they tend to try to do. So should be a lot of fun. All right. Got to get out of here. Sark's about to be on Zoom in about 10 minutes. So once again, make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Also, go to the link in our description for the ticket giveaway from Andre the Lawyer. All the details are on Instagram. Like, comment, tag a few people. We announced that at 5 p.m. today. And you will, the giveaway ends at 5 p.m. today. The winner will be announced at 8. So go check that out. And, of course, go to InsideTexas.com. $1 gets you access to the best Texas Longhorns community, all the best insight, and of course we'll get you a full year of access to the Athletic as well. So Justin, thank you so much. Ian, thank you. We'll see you next time on IT Live presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors.